Welcome to the Smash Masters podcast, hosted by Stefan Eschi and Nick Priest. This is where we dig into the auto body collision repair field and talk quality repair methods and how the industry is always changing. Buckle up, it gonna get bumpy.
What's up?
Hey, what's going on?
Man, we're here. Episode 19. Janelle comes in with the hey yo first.
Oh,
it's not
Janelle's
Alex this
first.
time.
Wow, that's first time in a while.
Yeah.
Somebody
right.
check on Alex. Make sure he's okay.
Make sure he's doing good. I haven't seen the guy. What's going on, Tyler?
Tyler coming in. Mm-hmm. Appreciate it.
Yep. Yeah.
Happy Monday.
Yeah, she's determined. You got to be determined on this type of stuff, man.
So,
what do we got for Monday? How was your Monday going? All good?
Yeah, it's all right. You know, and it's kind of a slower day at work, but you know, I kept busy. So I had a big bedside repair to do. But it's nice being able to knock stuff out without the dent puller, I'll tell you.
Right, yeah.
I mean, it was pretty nasty. It was tucked underneath the tailgate, bent the tailgate up and everything.
I don't know where Hart's at today, but I think she's going to beat him today. What's up, Jeff?
What's going on, Jeff?
Yeah.
How about you? How was your Monday?
Oh, it's been pretty good. It's kind of slower, I guess, because school started back and stuff. But you know, that's always the case around my area this time of year. So,
okay.
Nothing too bad. I mean, I got door dings and stuff to do. I'm supposed to have a couple of hail jobs scheduled in, so we'll see what happens with those. But past that, you know, we still got the Cam Auto giveaway coming on. So if you guys haven't been...
One more week.
Yeah, it's one more week. So if you haven't been registered for that yet, go on the Smash Masters page.
On Facebook.
On Facebook, yeah. And enter win to that thing because we're giving it away the 2nd, right? September 2nd?
Yep, we'll do it live.
Yep, and we were supposed to have Charles on, but I think he had something that he had to do, so we're still going to give it away.
Jeff, pick me.
Yeah, right.
That's good. It's no big deal. We could still pick it without him.
Yep.
I think we can handle that.
Oh, absolutely. So that's still going to be going on. So be sure and go and check that out if you hadn't already.
Yeah. Well, I mean, might as well bring our guest in.
Let's do it. It.
We got Mr. Cory Nichols.
What's up, buddy?
The PDR Cowboy.
PDR Cowboy in the house.
Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Nice.
How was your Monday?
Finishing up last week's stuff and putting cars together and all that fun stuff. So, you know, Mondays are always a Monday.
Matt in the house, yeah. Yeah, Mondays have been definitely Mondaying today all day. It was scheduled for all day, and it took all day. So, absolutely. So,
Philip coming in saying we had hail in Wallingford. Ooh, maybe I should put out some advertisement in my dent shop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Get some hail claims going. Yeah. That would be pretty cool. So you do a lot of hail where you are.
Yeah, we've been doing quite a bit for the past 3 years now. So I guess I'm now officially a hail guy. Never thought I would be, but look at me now.
Hey, that's great. I mean, it's nice that it comes to you. I mean, Phil said we had some hail here, but that's pretty rare where I am. So searching after all those little dings or dents or people who buy cars from hail areas. Once in a while, I see that.
What's up, Christopher?
We have a few hailstorms here and there, so maybe I'll catch on to something.
Oh yeah, sure, you definitely will.
I did have one hail car, so I've done one. But it had maybe 14, 15 dents on it. It wasn't too big.
First one under your belt, take it.
Hey.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, absolutely.
A win is a win.
A win is a win. So, yeah, what you used to be a collision technician, like what seems to be a lot of us, a lot more than what I thought.
Yeah.
So there's more of us out here making transitions, whether it's learning the dent techniques, you could say, or doing full PDR or anything. So, how did you get into that type of field? Coming from like just go through the story of collision work and then transitioning over.
Yeah, collision started pretty early. So, in high school, which seems like years ago now at this point,
Hmm.
graduated in '09. But my dad had show cars growing up, so we would always go to car shows, which I thought were just awesome, and fast
Hmm.
cars, loud cars, cool cars, whatever it may be.
Hmm.
And I got the chance to work on them with him. Not that he knew how to do body work or anything. It's here, let's work on this. Let's turn the wrenches and have a
That's
good
awesome.
time. So I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, auto body sounds cool because we had the class, shop class
Hmm.
in high school. So started there at like 14 or so. And then there was a competition that our school was allowed to go to. So it's called Skills USA. It may be other places, but it's here in Arkansas.
Okay.
I
I
haven't
don't know
heard
if
of
you've
that
heard
one.
of it,
It
but
No.
sounds familiar.
yeah. So I guess it's for, trades in the high school and kind of put you ahead of the crew. But went to that, won, got a scholarship. So got a half ride scholarship to UTI,
Hey, Craig.
full ride
Hey,
to
what's going on,
Tech,
Mr. Craig?
and then a half ride to another school. So went
Okay.
ahead and said, okay, I guess I'll go to Tech. So moved to Pennsylvania, went to their auto body program, moved back to Arkansas, and then got a job at a body shop. So, okay, now I'm a body man.
Yeah. Right.
Not,
Yeah.
not
Okay.
really. So,
Yeah.
I
Yep.
knew what I was doing, but more for like, okay, I could do this on the weekends and I could help my buddies, but as like a real job, it definitely takes some time to figure that thing out. So
Hmm.
Hey,
um,
hang on. You said you went to Pennsylvania
I
to
did, yeah.
to
So
take
Wyotech, yeah.
biotech. So how do you feel about that? Was it kind of good, kind of not good? Do you feel like, I mean, I know you just said you was kind of
Good
like a
question.
Yeah.
weekend
So,
warrior type, but
well, at that age, I thought I knew everything.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, but then again, a trade school is only going to show you so much. So,
Hmm.
from what I knew in high school, to be able to win that competition to begin with, I was already ahead of kind of that age group of
Yeah.
Yeah,
people who went to school for that.
yeah.
Um, and back then, man, I was so driven. I got perfect attendance. I graduated with honors, and we're talking about a trade school that you're fixing dents. So like, how hard is it? But people
Yeah.
actually failed out of it. So I guess it was pretty difficult for some. But um, yeah. So yeah, at my age too, kind of still in that group of we still like working, where like the new generation doesn't like working.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's cool. But um, yeah, so went there, learned quite a bit, but again, kind of already knew a lot and thought I knew more than I did. So
I can
that's
relate.
kind of what I took from that.
What's up, Adam?
But
Yeah, they kind of. I never went to trade or any type of schooling for collision or
mhm,
PDR. So other than we went to Kiko training, and then I took Gene Fetty's AAI Institute training.
mhm.
But prior to that, I haven't been to any type of collision formal training or anything. So, would you say there's a benefit doing that, or would you see more of a benefit of just like going straight in and?
going going straight in. I mean, really, what you do is get out of high school, and it gives you a little break from life to try to figure life out.
Hmm.
And if I had to pay for it, I probably would have been pretty upset. But it was a full ride, and housing was paid for, and all that. So it's like, I mean, why not, right? So
Yeah.
Hmm.
looking back now, though, which no one's getting into the auto body trade anymore. It's rare. It's a small percentage of people. But if someone were to get into that, I would say just jump straight in.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
But be ready to buckle up because there's a lot you're going to learn really quickly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of the MSOs have apprenticeship programs now, where
Sure.
they're just taking younger guys and just putting them under an ATEX wing, and I think Caliber provides a little bit of tooling for them. and they stay so many years. So I think it's a year they complete the training.
I just think I really admire any corporation, big or small, that's doing something like that to help guide someone through. Because it's, I mean, that's really, I feel like the biggest problem. I see kids that are interested in this stuff, and a lot of them give up because they find some kind of blockade to learning the trade. So that's one thing we're also focused on, getting that kind of information on where, because we get asked all the time, should I go to trade school? Should I go to school? It's like, well, it wouldn't hurt, but if you can get in a shop and learn, you're going to learn a lot more, and you're going to get paid to learn rather than paying to not really learn so much. At least in my experience, I went to trade school.
What's up, Greg?
After high school, so it's I walked out of there, as one of the top performing persons in mine. So I felt like I knew everything. And, then the first year in the body shop, I'm going, well, thanks a lot, school. Like, you taught me nothing. Nothing. So anyway, it's maybe I learned how to weld. I did learn how to weld there.
We had to take all the ICAR stuff, but I will be honest, like, having all these years of experience in auto body, like, your boss sees that piece of paper you hand him, like, I graduated. That doesn't mean anything to that guy. Like, he knows better. You graduated. Good job. All right, we'll start you at $12 an hour. You're gonna go back there. You're gonna take that car apart.
Or wash it. Because that's where I started.
You come in with a Harbor Freight box with a handful of tools, and you're like, wait, y'all use electric impacts? Like, what? I have a ratchet.
Literally.
So definitely, I would say there's been huge changes since I've even got out, but through my transition of auto body as well, because no one was really checking stuff in, like, my beginning stages of body work. Like, the manager would, like, QC it or whatever, but now there's, like, rules. You can't just glue that roof skin on. You have to do it right. I mean, you're liable at that point.
And pulling the procedures.
It's changed a lot in the last 10
Spot
years.
weld machines and brazing and all that stuff. Before it was just like, I'm gonna MIG that on real quick and grind it. Cool, we're done.
Right. It's definitely a whole different ball game now that we have liability with everything, and they've realized they have liability. So, gotta follow those rules. I think Hudson. Glad to. I should say we got Mo Clamp over on Instagram said good evening, and a better repair said sweep the floors and wash cars. It's that's where you start. That's where you start. And actually, you can tell a lot by somebody on how they sweep the floor, because when they don't sweep that Bondo dust up correctly the first time, because they never do, they always leave a whole bunch, and you show them how to do it right, and then they don't do it right again. It's like, nope.
They're not going to make it.
You're not going to make it. If you can't even learn that, you're not going to learn body work. You're just not, which is horrible.
Hudson makes eye contact with the Bondo dust.
With eye contact. It does help.
You have to on this type of trade nowadays. All
right. So you're a collision tech, and
we just left Pennsylvania. We're learning.
So I started professionally at the first shop in 2010. But again, I was doing it, in high school. I was painting cars and doing body work. So really started early, but 2010 started my first shop. Worked there roughly a year. Man, it was a tough year. They're putting me on frame jobs. I'm like, I don't even know how to do this. Why are you putting me on a 90-hour job? Like, 1 year in. And it was too much for me, really. So I'm like, this shop's not going to be the one. And I quit. So probably about 3 months later, I decided to give it another shot, went to another shop. And dude, it was like having that 3 months off was like just, I went in and I was 10 times the tech I was when I left. And I think it was just that break and trying to understand like where did I go wrong, what happened. I had a little more drive going in, and then
Better attitude.
Better attitude.
Yeah.
But I started chasing money because I realized that, like, okay, they put me on commission. I'm making 60, 70 hours a week. I'm, 20 years old. I'm like, dude, this is awesome, right? And then I just bought a truck. I just bought a house. I just bought a side-by-side. And then my boss comes up one day, gets us all in a circle. He's like, I'm switching everybody to hourly. And I'm like, what? Like, I was just making all this money. And so he gave us our average. So, I mean, I was making like $35 an hour. So I was like, okay, I'll take it, whatever. So I did that for probably 4 more years. And at that point I was like, why am I working so fast? Why am I just trying to get through this stuff?
Yeah.
Why don't I get good at it? It's what I do for a living. So really slowed down, listened to the older guys who were transitioning out of the shop. Like, they know a lot. These older guys that are getting out, they know all the secrets. So took their advice and really just honed in my skill, and then got really aggravated with that shop. I was kind of the guy, but I was never happy. Well, this. So one day I was like, dude, I'm out. Went to another shop, went commission. And then when I went over there, this other guy that was in the corner had some PDR tools, and he was their PDR guy, which he was way better than I was at it. But I was like, dude, if he can do it, why can't I do it? He's a body man, and he pushes to paint, and he does some PDR, and he does a little hail here and there, and that's super cool. So I already had a couple tools, so I just bought more, and it's like, all right, now I'm going to figure this out.
About year, what was this, 15 or 16?
No, this had to be, so 17 I bought the tools because we had a hailstorm.
Okay.
Tried to fix a practice panel on, said, yeah, this ain't going to happen. Put the tools back in my toolbox. So probably about like 19.
Oh, 19. Okay.
Yeah, probably 19 I picked the tools back up because I saw what he was able to do with them. So I was like, okay.
What's up, Dent Vision?
Started just trying to fix stuff in the shop that would come in for body repair. Like, okay, 10-hour dent turned into a 3-hour dent, 4-hour dent turned into a half-hour dent, whatever. I can block it. I'll put a little glaze on it here and there. And then I was like, I really need a light. So I bought a light, and that light was just like, whoa, what in the world? There's so much left. And, you know, then you got the light this close to the panel, and you're working right here, and you're like, oh, this thing looks good. And then you stand back, and you're like, why do
I still see it? Yeah.
Then, really what helped me, you know, YouTube worked on all the cars, but Dent Trainer and Real World PDR.
Okay.
And then had my headphones in every day and listened to all the podcasts. And PDR Tool Time was pretty beneficial for me. PDR College as well. Just listening to them all the time. And you scoot that light back. You scoot that light back. So I started doing that. And I was like, dang, there's way more work. But, you know, now I'm kind of figuring out where my tip is a little better. And I'm seeing where I need to hit that spot. And that needs to go down. And this needs to come up. And after doing that for about a year, come 2020, I'm like, dude, I can fix dents now. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And what kind of bugged me the most is, you know, we'd have jobs come in with 6 or 7 hour dents on them, and I'd glass them. Like, I'd 95% of them, where most people would be like, dude, that's gone. Like, that looks good. And my boss would be like, yeah, but painters need to get paid, so we're just going to send it back there, scuff it, clear it. And I'm like, but I fixed it. Like, it doesn't matter. They need to get paid. And I was like, you know what? I'm out of here. So I started saving my money up, and then I just quit. And then started my own PDR company.
Yeah. All right. So it's interesting because usually from what we hear is people starting with the glue pulling, and that leads them to the PDR, and that leads them to leaving.
Yeah. Bought a lot of glue pull stuff too along the way.
So was the glue pull before or after you were interested in a paintless though?
Well, at first I thought all you needed was the push tools, because
right.
as a body man, it's like rough it out, mud it, whatever.
Right.
And
That's the
I had
idea,
push
basically.
tools.
Yeah.
But then again, those podcasts and those YouTubes and those training platforms that I paid for, they're talking about all this Kiko, and really at the time, Kiko was kind of all I heard. Now there's Cam Auto and some other stuff out there, but
Yep.
Kiko still, I've got their level 2 kit and a handful of their tools, but I turned big dents to small dents, and then small dents are just small dents at that point. There's just 14 of them on the panel that you have to connect. So I made a lot of mistakes with glue pull because, body man rip and grip, put a stud on there and just pop it real quick. And so there's a lot more finesse to glue pull, as you both know, that you really have to, figure out where the damage is locked up. And that was definitely a transition on its own. So there was a lot more mudding than was necessary, but I didn't have a teacher either to tell me where the highs were and the lows were to release to make all that come together. So you guys going to that Kiko training has just probably just catapulted you into the next level of glue pulling.
Not only that, but we're both able to do the GPR masterclass through Gene Fetty, the AAI. Dude, there's so much information we can yet to pull out of that guy, So I mean, but Absolutely. it's just you learn so much from just spending 5 minutes with him and take his course, and it's all that information. It's so useful. So it's
it is.
It explains a lot, because even if you can get the glue to stick, okay, well now we got to work on what tab to select for what damage, and tab placement and all that, and it's all these learning curves. So both those things. The Kiko 5-day training was super beneficial, and they did push tools. They do push tools in that training. Which blows my mind. I mean, it's a body shop course. It's not a PDR course. So I love that they're doing that. By the way, somebody who went with us on that, Eldar, is over on Instagram saying, "Let's glue pull. It's super cool."
Yeah, Eldar's a fun guy.
That's his saying. So nice to see you, Eldar. Thanks for tuning in. But both those courses were super beneficial.
Yeah, they were. And, it's going to be to that point anyway. Like, all of us that's transitioned, I guess, from collision to PDR, we all picked up tools at some point, dent tools, and started working metal that way. I mean, that's just going to be the way that you start fixing in collision. It's going to, go away from the stud gun and dent tools, whether or not you want to take it to full PDR, do that. Some people really don't care much about glassing dents out, then that's not fine. Where their heart is. They'd rather go make the money to buy fishing boats and go fishing year round, and those dent tools help them achieve that goal. So but for the guys that are passionate about it, and that's what we want to do, learn and get better, all of this stuff kind of takes a part in that, whether you want to you just stay in collision, or PDR, become a PDR tech in a shop, or however you want to do it.
Yeah.
Cory, did Cory just get a boat? Andy said.
Maybe.
So,
all right.
Yeah. There you go.
But the thing is, when I was a body man, I had way more free time. So just take that into consideration. When you have a PDR business, you live at your PDR business.
Yeah.
It doesn't really ever get to go home, do you? I mean, like, mentally, it's always 24/7. Yeah.
I've gotten better, but just one of those things. There's some crazy people out there, and I'm one of them. So there's others out there too.
Always got to pursue and perfect that next thing, whatever it is.
Matter of fact, I was in one of Gene's early classes of, it was like a group. It was like a 10 group or 20 group or something for beginners. My first year in PDR, and he had really good advice back then, which he always does. But
always,
I was complaining back then of, so my shop was at my house for a year or two. So I was always home, but I was always at work. So, all right, go eat dinner. Well, I've got a car out there. I might as well go fix it. But I never left. So I was just like addicted to work, but I didn't want to be. And he said, when you go inside at 5 o'clock, change your shirt. I'm like, change my shirt. Was it? Made a big difference because you take this company shirt off and you put a regular t-shirt on. Well, then you're Cory. Then you get to do Cory things. But if you got the work shirt on, you're a business owner and you have all these responsibilities and you feel obligated. But then at a certain point, it's like, how much of my life is going to be obligated towards this and how much is going to be obligated towards me? So that was great advice from Gene.
I should have took that advice today because I've got this shirt on.
There you go. Well,
and I should have the Smashmaster shirt on. I should not have this shirt on. So technically, so yeah, that's really good advice there.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like it. I mean, I could say as a body shop employee, I'm very able to just punch out at 5 and it's gone.
Yeah.
So I understand. I mean, there's a huge difference. There's pluses and minuses to both.
Yeah, but when you started that, though, we were still the same way, even in collision work. We kept it with us 24/7 as well because we were always trying to learn. And we had to learn to, when you punch out or mobile app, ADP mobile app, clock out or whatever, you're done. Right. And that's the same thing as essentially, when you own your own business, you have to know when to do that as well, like you said. Off. And that's a good thing to do, is just change that outfit out. And then
that's good advice.
Yeah, I like that.
Like it.
Also recommend 2 phones, one for the company and one personal. I did that years ago. Oh, game changer. And
just turn one off.
I used to just have one number, and it was like weekends on Core Paintless Dent Repair. It's like, no, I'm open Monday through Friday. I will answer Monday through Friday. Leave me a voicemail. If it's not that important, I guess someone else can fix your dent. So,
right.
But in the beginning, you want everything because you have to grow. And if you don't answer the phone, someone else will.
Yeah, that's true. And, I'm at that. I still have one phone for everything, and I still get calls. Like, I've gotten calls at like 10 o'clock at night before. I'm like, who is this? And,
you get those at 2 o'clock in the morning, like, I don't know why you're not answering your phone, bro. I got a dent in my truck. It's like some drunk guy at the bar. It's like, dude, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, bro. Chill out.
I get more pictures of dents now text to me from random numbers than I'm just like, all right.
I'm getting that. Yeah.
You guys are now the plug. You're the dent plug.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Right. And I am answering my phone, my dent shop. So I already learned to make that the normal. But yeah,
you definitely have to flip a switch when you answer that phone. It's straight professionalism, and it's but in the beginning too, I was way too professional. Like, I didn't know how a businessman was supposed to act. It's like, I'm supposed to dress this way, I'm supposed to talk this way. Well, through social media, I realized you can just kind of be yourself, and if people want to use you, they'll use you. And if you can show your skill, that's all they're looking for. They don't care if you're wearing a tie. It's the business is a funny thing, which I thought PDR was hard, but learning PDR at the same time as opening a business, that's a double whammy. That's
difficult. That's what I'm going through now. I get it, because once people know you can fix something, they're going to hunt you down.
Yes.
They will hunt you down, literally. And it's like, okay, it's kind of eye-opening to see what some people will do, when they know they can, that you can be of service to them. So it's crazy.
Good problem to have.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, I'd agree.
It is, but you just learn so much stuff along the way, that you would never think was possible. And I don't really know how to explain it, but it's just, I don't know, it's eye-opening. It's fun. It's fun to me, learning new stuff. I like to constantly learn. So as long as I'm learning, I'm having fun.
Yeah. That's all this job is learning. We learn every day, right? New dent.
Right.
Yep. And and I mean, for anybody getting into collision or whatever you're getting into in life, you're going to always learn something. Your trade skills never stop.
And and you got to keep that mindset too. I mean, don't get bogged down on it. It's like, well, I know how to do this my way, so I'm going to do it my way. Screw the new ways. If you go and you search out those new ways and you create that challenge, it makes life much more interesting. And yeah, now you can continue to learn in the collision field and the PDR field probably forever, or as long as you can do it. So yeah, that's good advice. I
There's a
totally
handful
agree
of
with
texts on
James.
here. There's a handful of texts on here that have been commenting that I've learned a lot from, actually. So
Yeah,
appreciate
me
that
too.
from all those people. I've had them come in my shop and help me with some hail, and there are really some amazing people out there who can do some fantastic things. So always good to learn. And hey, even if they've got a suggestion and it doesn't work for you, just, try it, see if it works. And if it doesn't, just go back to your way or take a little piece of it and,
Right. At least try
merge
it.
it into how you do it. So,
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
and
you can take a little something from any part of the game and apply it and make it your own, for sure.
Sure.
Absolutely. Yep. And you might follow one piece of advice for years and then find somebody else comes and negates that entirely, and give that a try. And maybe your mind will be blown, and it's just, I mean, it's happened to me. So
Glue pull is king.
glue pull is king.
In the collision world, it's very much becoming king.
It really
Very
is.
much so.
You get some good tools. You can you learn the process. You can make some amazing things happen.
So yeah, let's get back to collision a little bit. What was the hardest thing for you to learn in collision?
What's up, Mike Mac?
Like, if you had to say something that you struggled with the most, aside from just learning the techniques, like you're good at collision now, you're in there working, you're killing it, but there's still something that you struggle with. Is there something that you had, or you pretty much was able to overcome a lot of stuff?
It's really hard to remember the beginnings. Towards the end, I was pretty proficient at it, 100+ hour a week, no problem, 3-4 days a week, cool, whatever. But I would say in the beginning, the hardest part is just like probably the frame stuff, because it has to be so accurate. Or maybe, it was patience, because even though bodymen have less patience than paintless dent repair people, when it comes to pre-fitting things, okay, I've welded this apron in and I've put this core support in, send it to paint. Well, if you don't fit that fender and that headlight and that bumper and that hood, and something may not line up, and then you get back and you have such a struggle putting it together because you didn't tram it out correctly, or you didn't spend enough time on the frame machine, or you got an aftermarket part and now you're trying to make this headlight fit an OEM fender that just, it's impossible. And probably patience, and second to that would be frame, just because when you pull the front, the side moves and the back's moving and it's diamonds, and you got to get every number within a couple mils, and that's more frustrating than is difficult. But that difficulty level is having the patience again to make all those numbers accurate to then get a finished product.
So you could say that in the collision world, pushing that light back in the PDR world helps you identify the damage. Stepping back and looking at this car and the gaps as a whole is kind of the same thing. You don't really need a light for
read the whole car.
But you have to read the car in its entirety. So
you got to fill the doors, making sure they're not dropping off the strikers, and you've got to see those gaps, and there's just all those. You don't want to get the little grinder out and make the hole bigger. And how many times have we've all done it? Don't lie, we've all done it.
Sure,
that fender
but
doesn't
that's
fit,
the last.
You ream it out a little, and
that's the absolute last resort.
The reason we've done that is because we didn't go through the steps, and the major difference in PDR and collision is we can't hide anything in PDR. Our finished product is the finished product. With collision, you can hide a little bit. Now, is it the right way to do it? Depends on the car, but at the same time, probably not.
Right. Yeah. No, it's every car should get good treatment, especially when you're cutting and welding and everything on a vehicle. But yeah, no, I hear you. It's not always the prettiest trade, auto body.
Yeah, a telltale sign of a nicely repaired car is going to be in the gaps.
Shim it and move
Yeah.
on.
It's going to be in the gaps, and yeah, I mean, obviously, if you can see the shimmed or they've been shimmed to that point, then that's still not correct. But I mean, you can look at a car; the gaps are what's gonna tell you what's happened to this car. So,
Yep. Yep.
and PDR, you're moving the light back, like you said earlier, and then you're identifying those shallow, low spots that you kind of have to go in there and gently massage out. And you'll notice too, like you'll notice too, like when just say you have a smaller dent that you're doing on PDR, you'll find yourself kind of blending it the same way that you would if you were sanding the panel to make it bigger. You're just blending it with the PDR tool.
Yep.
And a lot of eye-opening things happen when you start to realize some of that as well. Like, man, I'm doing the same thing as I would have been, just with a different way.
Yep.
Hmm.
All those basics come back though, definitely, because we're feathering essentially with a sandpaper, and we're blending with our hammer or our knockdown or even our tool from the backside, kind of blending it out. So
Yep.
as a painter would blend the paint out, we're blending the damage out.
Yeah,
So
lots of similarities.
very similar, just completely different as well at the same time. So
Yeah, so that's
two sides to it.
Yeah. I think if I didn't know how to disassemble a car and I started just from PDR, just as fixing door dings, that would be just total like a disaster. That would be scary.
It'd be a lot. It'd be a lot to learn. So it's a lot less to learn having our knowledge. That's for sure.
It is. It is.
Um,
So I'm fortunate to, have all these years in collision and then be able to go and do a transition from that to where I, have a broad idea of what needs to be done.
So my main guy, Thomas, that I've trained for a year and 8 months at this point,
So, praying.
he came in as a detailer. So he was very, very particular, and thought, man, I really need to get this guy on board because I'm particular. He's particular. It worked out great. He can figure this out. He's very hands-on. And, being a detailer and being so particular, I thought he knew how to use tools, right? No. So I bring him in. I'm like, all right, tear this door down. He's like, what? Tear the door down. And man, I realized very quickly that he didn't know what he was doing. But that's the first job I gave him, was tear down, because we can complain all day about getting access to a dent, and it may take 45 minutes to fix that dent one way. I can have the door panel off in 2 minutes, and I can have that dent done onto the next job. So now that he sees that, even though he complains, he's like, all right, you were right. Knowing how to tear a car down, very, very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, that's why when you start in collision work, you always start with tearing the cars down. Getting
Absolutely.
that, you don't start with wiping mud or straight to fixing bumpers or whatever. You start with tearing cars down.
Yep.
And there's a reason. You get to identify and learn things that it is difficult. Finding access to bolts on door panels, some of these cars, is kind of it takes a minute if you're not used to that. And then dropping headliners, getting to see like how glass comes out and all this other stuff. It's beneficial, even though it doesn't seem like it, especially if you're, I've been taking cars apart now for 6 months. I'm ready to do something else. Kind of gets boring and you get ready, but man, you really need that to start out with.
Yeah. Yep. For sure.
And that applies to both collision and PDR, I would say. Like I said, man, it would be scary to know that, I've never taken anything off of a brand new car before, and now I'm over here prying away with plastic tools,
Adding more damage to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Andy keeps trying to steal Thomas, he says.
Yeah.
He's never going to get him. Shut up, Andy. Thomas is, man, he's awesome. Andy's awesome. Everybody on here is awesome. But, man, having a helper, and I say he's a helper, he's dang near an A-Tech at this point. But man, it's like having a helper around just changes the whole dynamic of things. I'm not doing it by myself anymore. I have a buddy to work with, and I have someone who I can lean on and help me take hoods off and deck lids, and he tears down all the cars too. But it's really fun to have someone who kind of has the same mindset as well, who's willing to work with you and go through all these processes together.
That's cool.
Yeah, it gets that. It definitely takes some of that weight off because, like we were saying earlier, owning your own business, it's 24/7. But really, it actually is a lot of late nights, a lot of doing this by yourself, a lot of putting headphones in and just grinding away. And sometimes you don't even know that it's 12 and 1 o'clock at night. You're pushing on some of the stuff, but you're out here doing it, and you find yourself doing it, week after week, and you're like, man. Finally get a helper guy to come help you, and a lot of that just kind of goes away. Yeah, that's nice.
I look forward to these problems.
Well, they are there, and I guarantee you that anybody in here that's done on their own business, they will tell you it's the late nights that you have to get to.
Oh, like, I hear about it. And I'm ready, but it's it's daunting.
First couple of years are the hardest.
That's what they say.
Because you have to build it up, man, and get those reviews and get that reputation. And you tell someone you can do a job in 2 days, and that's really a 4-day job for you because you've never done something that extreme. Well, it's going to be 2 days, customer. I will have that done for you because I will work 48 hours on it.
Well, I mean, after you get to working out so late, it's technically just really early anyways.
Exactly.
You just don't go to sleep, Andy. That's the trick.
Yeah.
That's just one way, I guess.
Yeah, that works. Yeah, that works for sure. So, like, what was you gonna say?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna just say, so you transition over there, kind of learn the hardest part about collision. What was the hardest part about PDR?
I like good.
That again is patience.
Just patience.
Okay.
I'm OCD and I'm ADD, ADHD. I'm really just a crazy person altogether. But
it takes that kind of person to do
it. So am I.
I need this tool, and then you walk over to the tool wall or your cart, and it's like, wait, what was I coming over here for again?
What was I even working
just
on?
all this, yeah, exactly. You go back and like, oh, there's a crumb on the floor. I better pick that up. But no, it's just getting to the finish line. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. You want to get it finished, but in order to get it finished correctly, you really have to just spend the time on it. And it's very difficult to want to spend the time. And probably the biggest difficulty is like you're almost there, you're almost finished, and there's one little low, and you're like, but if I push it, then I got to blend it again. And if I do this, or if I glue pull it, then it's going to pull it all together. And then what if I knock it down too hard? And just doing that both makes you faster and better, but it's the patience altogether. It's not the skill. Like once you have the skill, you know what you're doing. You know how metal moves. You know what it's supposed to look like when it's done. Can you get to that point? And how are you going to get to that point? And it takes a lot of outside of the box thinking on some repairs, as well as a lot of patience. And I hear that from tons of customers. You must have a lot of patience. I mean, I've learned it.
Right. So that's what I was just going to say. And I like how you're treating it as something you can learn, because the number one excuse I hear from everybody, I don't have patience for body work. I don't have patience for PDR. I didn't either. We're not born with patience. It's something I had to learn. So I tell them it's not patience. It's you get to learn that it's more about determination, about having the determination to get through the fails to the success, because it takes a while. Both PDR and bodywork, same thing. And but yeah, no, I like that you're saying that it's something you can learn, because I totally agree.
Well, the thing is, I have a lot of patience up here at the shop, But when I leave here, it all goes out the window and I lose all my patience. So
So
at least I have it somewhere.
Yeah.
you use it up at work, so you have
Yeah,
none
Yeah,
left when you
yeah,
leave.
that's what Andy
That's
just
the way
said.
to
He
do
only has patience
yeah,
for PDR.
yeah.
And,
There.
you know,
As soon as I
sometimes,
get in the truck and someone's at that red light too long, I'm like, "Will you go
yeah,
already? Come
right.
on!"
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, you're pushing some of these dents. You got the light far back, you know, and it looks good. And then you take the light off, and you're like, man, this thing's ready to go. And you look at it, and you're like,
Mhm.
what happened? I got to bring this back in. So
Yeah.
then the patience starts getting thin at that point. Then you're like, I'm ready to put a brick to the pedal and just watch it go that way.
A big learning curve though is also cross-checking
It is.
because you don't want to cross-check because it's like, but it looks good.
Looks
But
good from
Right.
this side.
does it look good from the other side? Does it look
Mhm.
good from this and that? And like I've done repairs and dude, that thing looks freaking sweet. And then you look at it from the other side and you're like,
Mhm.
Yeah, big
That's
high next to a big low.
yeah.
Yep, yep. Every
That
time.
so there's
that's where a
definitely
lot of the patience
skills.
comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The skills you have to know though in order to have that patience, like cross-checking and knowing when and where to blend and what high to hit and stuff. That's kind of the basic stuff still, but
Mhm.
kind of outside the norm of basics because okay, you can fix a dent this big, but then when you have something this big with 12 crowns, out of basics, but still the same principles. So, I mean, there's all kinds of different things. Every day we always run into an issue of what do I do here? Why did I do it that way? How can I learn from it? But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's just thinking about it.
Was there one thing though that when you were, whether it was glue pulling or pushing, that you were doing it, you weren't getting it, and then you had that kind of aha light bulb moment go off, and you were like, "Hey, there we go." You know,
Really?
aside from
Yeah.
like having like a patience, like there's got to be that one thing that when you finally got it, you know,
Well, it's really every aspect of it. It's
yeah,
not one thing. It's like you have to
from start
master
to
every
finish.
single aspect. Yeah. So
Mhm.
for glue pulling, for instance, absolutely. You pull the dent and the center's left, and then you tap it, but you didn't open it up enough. So then the center's left again, and then now you have a big volcano that you have to tap, and
So every
learning that side of
aspect.
things. Yeah, and then
Individually.
over pushing, learning where your tooltip is, knowing to push that light back. All kinds of stuff. It's even outside of PDR, but still in PDR, the business part. Like,
Yeah.
okay, now I have to learn how to talk to customers. Now I have to learn how to answer my phone. Now I have to learn how to do social media. Now I have to do all of it. I mean, it's not
There,
one thing,
there's
it's
a
everything.
whole department store of light bulbs that seem to go off
Absolutely.
when and you just kind of make your way down the aisles, and they just keep going off as you're going down the aisle, basically.
Yep. No,
And
it's every little aspect, and learning each part is definitely a light bulb moment.
it
I agree
is.
with
It,
that.
it is. It is. And, you know, we have a lot of people say, well, learning the light, you know, how to use the light was the most difficult. Or, you know, I hear a lot of people say, well, finding the tooltip was really, really difficult, you know, and I had that and I finally got that down. Then, you know, that was really a struggle for me. But after that, you know, everything went kind of smooth. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I will agree with you on that. There's not really one that I could say either. It's just, every little thing that gets the dent up nicely is going to have several different steps, and they're all really nice to achieve every one of them.
Yeah.
And you have to
And
go
we're
through a lot of them steps in order to get there.
and you still learn. You think you've mastered something, and then you get thrown a curveball.
It definitely will.
That actually works really well.
That's good for social
Bring it
media.
super close. Yeah, absolutely.
Look, the
Yeah.
light's right there.
Yeah, right.
The before the light's way back here, and then the after it's like
It's right up on top of it. Yep.
Looks good right here.
I do have a most memorable moment when it comes to my PDR career, and
Okay, that'll work.
when I was working for the body shops, I was doing like side gigs here and there, and like whatever, $100, $200, whatever it might be, make it better. That's all cool and stuff. But I'd taken a vacation, I did some jobs, and that was all fun. But the next week, it was like, all right, now the jobs you had scheduled, the friends you had needed cars fixed, like all that's over. Now you have to really figure out what your next step is in this whole journey of life in the PDR world and just in life in general. So I got a call and he found my number online. I'm like, oh my God, I have like one review and he found me. That's awesome, right? So I'm mobile at the time. I drive out to his house. I look at his vehicle. I write him an estimate and he says yes. I'm like, all right, perfect. We can schedule it for next Tuesday or whatever it may be. I get in my truck, man. My freaking heart's pumping. I'm like, he did it. You freaking did it. Like that right there sealed the deal for me. Like I knew that I could do it on my own. And ever since that moment, I just only wanted to go. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. Those moments are really awesome. I remember. I've had a few of them. I've shared them with Stefan. He shared his few with me, and just to kind of see that come alive, it's really cool.
It's still special for me. It's still so early on for me that I get a call, especially somebody who's just like, yeah, somebody gave me your number. It's like, really? Like, that's awesome. I mean, yeah.
What
calm
up,
down.
Yeah,
Calm
we
down.
see.
Yeah, what's up, Adam? We got your comments this time. I guess
Yes,
I
sir.
fixed it
Yep.
somehow. But yeah, it's that's cool. I'm glad that was a big moment for you. It's yeah, there's still big moments, so that's very cool.
we're all rooting for you.
Oh
Yeah, no,
absolutely.
the support is overwhelming. It's nice. It's nice. Are you going to MTE this year?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
cool.
I'll be in Vegas. Actually, Thomas, my guy, entered him into the beginners. So,
Oh, cool.
are you
You're
going to be
Vegas?
in the beginners contest by chance?
We're
Because
not
he's
going to
going to sweep the
Vegas.
floor. Because he's going to beat you. Just, I mean, you're going to be crying.
He probably would. He probably would. No, it was the beginners contest that actually made me look into what it would take for me to go there. But I had to
Oh,
make a
sweet.
decision between the PDR Expo and MTE, and I really want to go to MTE again. So possibly the Expo next year. I'm fingers crossed. If everything aligns.
I try to go to most of what I can, the big stuff anyway, because, networking with other technicians and learning
Oh, it's
different things on
so helpful.
how they run their business and just, having some beer, whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All fun
that's a
stuff.
lot of kind of what like I kind of chase now is what is somebody doing, but with not one thing in particular, but something with their business, like what helped them with how they start or something like that. So that's kind of I guess more heavier on my mind nowadays than just doing dent work. You know what I mean? Which I know I have the skills necessary to go out and do a dent job, but like the business part of it, I'm constantly trying to get better at that, and that's a whole new ball game. What's up, Art?
It also took
I'm
off
not.
pretty quick for you, so I'm sure that's a bit overwhelming.
Yeah, it did. You kind of it's kind of like a roller coaster ride. You're sitting there waiting, and you don't know when it's going to go, and then you just leave. And you're like, oh well, here we are.
It's scary too because you don't know, like, what does next month look like? What does next year look like? How am I going to structure my business differently then? So for us, it was I'm fixing smash jobs every day and doing a couple body shops here and there, and then we get hail out of nowhere. I'm with Danny actually in Chicago doing a Kiko training, and we get hailed on the first time ever since I had my company. It's like, Danny, I'm terribly sorry, but I've got to go. And he's like, dude, come on. I'm like, I'm sorry.
that was a good
That
Danny.
That was 3 years ago. Like,
Oh, wow.
It's mind blowing. And then the next year, you're like, all right, we're gonna go back to fix and smash it. We're gonna be doing it, and it's hails again. And then okay, I guess we're now a hail company. And then the next year comes, and it's this year, and it hailed in January, and it's like,
Oh my!
what are
Wow.
we doing here? But
That's
then I've
amazing.
got in my head, what do I do next year? Do I go back to doing smashes? Do I? Yeah. No one has the answer because
Danny.
sorry, Danny. I'm sorry.
Never gonna forget that.
What does he say? Unreal.
Yeah. Andy, what day is that again? Just so if we don't, if everybody hadn't caught up to that yet, what day is it in November for the tech meetup?
At Dapper in
Yeah, at his shop.
Tennessee.
At his shop.
Y'all
Yeah.
been to his shop ever? It's pretty sweet.
I have not.
November the 16th.
Okay.
Guess I'll need to take a vacation again.
Yeah, there you go. November 16th at Andy's shop. Hangouts are welcome. Toy Drive Tech Meetup.
I'll do my best, Andy.
Andy's the first PDR guy outside of Arkansas I ever met. I went to Anson Open House, and a local tech here had a tool that Andy bought from him, but I guess it was like a top of something. He's like, "Give this to Andy Patrick when you get there." I'm like, "What? Who's Andy? I don't know anybody."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
funny.
"Hey, Andy, I've got this thing for you. Nicest guy in the world." Like,
Oh yeah,
crazy.
yeah, he is. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, actually, Andy started following me well before my PDR aspirations, and he actually then as I got them, I mean, they asked me to come on the Ginger Bros Dent show, and that was and that's where they convinced me to go to MTE, and that's where I was
It
like,
is, man.
oh, I have to do this, you know. So.
Yeah.
Or it was a little before that because I had just left Dave White's training when I went to MTE. But anyway, it all fell together, and yeah, Andy's a super nice guy. So
Yep, and I almost didn't go to MTE this year, and I missed you there, Corey, because I left as soon as you were coming in. I was leaving out, but yeah, I almost didn't go to that either. That was a last minute gig for me, but it was a super fun time. I enjoyed it. Like you
yeah,
said, networking and doing all that kind of stuff, man. It's really important to do that type of stuff in this industry, and that's
Absolutely.
something that the collision world doesn't really have.
oh,
You
not
know,
at all.
they have for business guys, business meetups, you know, collision type meetups and tools for companies to buy. Or, you know, if you're a business owner, you know, you can buy like, you know, some Carliner stuff, GYS welders and stuff. But as far as a technician meetup, there's not something that you know, you can just have a bunch of collision guys go to and enjoy a hangout and tell stories and do whatever there. So that's nice to be able to do that.
When y'all were in high school, did y'all have like rival cities and towns, like different schools? Like, oh, we don't like them because I feel
Yeah.
like that's how collision shops are. At least where I'm at is like, if you work at this collision shop, you hate the other collision shop, even if like the guys
Yeah.
are cool over there. It's like,
Oh, really?
no, screw them, man. Like,
Yeah.
it's like that's how I felt in collision. It was like, it's this shop or nothing. It's my guys or nothing. And outside of that, it was like, nah, screw them. They got a black shirt on. We wear blue shirts.
It is, Dane. It is like it's crazy
Interesting.
how collision shops get with that type of stuff. It is super rivaled for whatever
Yeah.
reason I don't know.
It's so weird.
And yeah,
These Kiko trainers are going nuts in our comments section. But yeah. No, it's a great industry. Honestly, it's been eye opening. The whole PDR industry, honestly, in general. So, I mean, we're going to SEMA again, but it's nothing like a meetup like MTE is. You know, it's just it's a big car show. You know, with a bunch of companies trying to sell you stuff. So
Yeah.
it's but it's something to see. That's for sure.
yeah,
Something
it's
to
gonna
Do
be
see.
y'all
nice.
feel? Do y'all feel your social media has helped you get more in the PDR field, more like customer base or anything like that?
Customer base. Oh, my. So I mean, I put my videos on the website, and I did get a comment from a few people that my website's very nice, and I think it's partially because my social media posts are on there, like written out and everything with the videos and everything. So maybe. I don't know about Nick though.
I don't know. I don't have my web page and all that stuff up as of yet. So I really haven't gotten anything.
You got to do that.
So that's one of my next steps to actually do is get that stuff set up. Um, but yeah, I mean, I haven't gotten anything from that yet. Mine's just been total word of mouth stuff. And
Hmm.
like I said, I service body shops, and I have
Yeah.
those that I circle around through. So I kind of just got into that area. But no, definitely going to do the Google stuff here soon in the web page.
I feel like every time I post a Smash video, which I haven't done in quite some time, but I'll have a period of like people want to come in for smashes, and I'm like, why did I post that? I ain't got time for this stuff. But then you
Hmm.
also want to like show
Ah,
off, like I kind of can do
ah.
this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Because you were sending me
But
those videos of the one you did the other day, and they
well,
were on
that's
your
just because you were talking
stories.
trash.
Oh,
You,
I
you're
said
like,
PDR techs don't use cavity wax.
yeah. So I was like, I'll show him.
Yeah.
Hey, I loved it. I loved seeing the videos and everything you were doing there. I watched all your stories because you had more of it on your stories. And I was looking forward to the video, and the video never came out. You got the one where you're conducting the
Yeah, I
hill
haven't.
work.
Yeah, I haven't put out the reels yet. I'm gonna do some. I'm gonna talk on the background, and we've been so busy here that I
I
just
get
haven't
it.
taken the time. Yeah, because as
That's
soon as I post it, I'm gonna have people come in and they're, well, hey, I've got a dent like this. I was like, I
wow.
can get you in November. Like I hate telling people that, like
Yeah.
we're 3 months
Yeah,
out. It doesn't ever. At
but
least I've got them in the background for when I need them.
it's great that you have that though. I mean, because I mean, social media is free advertising basically,
Yeah.
and if it actually is working for you,
Mhm.
that's you don't hear that often. So that's great. That's really great.
I thought
Yeah.
more people would see success from it. Actually, the reason I quit was Hudson. I seen him at an Anson open house, and he's like, "Why do you keep posting these videos? When you get busy, you'll quit." And I went home and I was like, you know what? He's right. I'm
Oh,
I'm
Hudson.
I'm busy enough.
He was just trying to take you out of the pool to make his videos more
Yeah.
noticed. That's all. You had great videos. You were one of the first PDR people I followed on
Really,
TikTok.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, it was hilarious, and it was the tool ones where you put the rag on your head,
Yeah.
and there's a girlfriend coming out and yelling at you for buying tools, and then you'd have this awesome tool. I'm like, what's the tool? you know, or the Encore or anything. It was good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Those were fun times. Definitely a different part. You know, that was a different part of my life where I was trying to grow and I didn't have, I didn't care about anything. I didn't care what people thought, and I still don't, but
You can't care. You
kind
can't.
of in a different aspect of things now where I want to be a little more informative and kind of less
Okay.
goofy and show skill, but still have that goofy aspect of it. But
Hmm.
Do you
back
think it's
then
the
was wide open.
Do you think it was the goofiness that got you the following?
Probably. Yeah.
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 Okay.
Bet it was.
It was fun, but it was I don't know. Just different times, man. For me it was different times.
I don't know of any PDR show in Hawaii, Danny. Sorry.
It'd be super fun though.
It would be. I even have friends in Hawaii. I don't know where. There's different islands, but
If
yeah.
Kiko's fronting that plane ticket, I mean,
Oh.
we'd all be
I
interested.
mean, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know.
Mm.
We all just a whole plane of PDR nerds going to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Oh god, you better get a boat instead.
Andy, those were some good videos that Andy had that um, he come out with not too long ago. Man, those were some really funny videos.
Andy was doing so. I'd say Andy was doing very good in the goofiness aspect as well. So I guess that's a good for those people that are trying to learn more about gaining more in social media. We'll say just go be goofy. Definitely, you got to stop caring what people think.
Yeah.
That you get right. You got to put that right to the side. If you care too
Out the
much about
window.
that, you got to forget social media. Even when you get Corey, I mean, my videos have more. I mean, I do the goofy stuff and I've done the trends and stuff, but what really I think my following came from is my repair videos, and I go into depth and I explain things, and I mean, you'll get, and the PDR world is no different, but you'll get the two aspects of it. People who say, "Oh, you took too long, and you didn't have to do all that," or the people that said, "Why didn't you do this? You should have done that. You're a hack," you know. And so, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that you're gonna open up to by doing more informative things rather than the goofiness.
Well, I'd like to add a little bit of goof, but a little informative.
Yeah.
Bryce Kelly has, awesome repairs and stuff, and he's informative and he kind of shows what's going on. And I'm trying to base more of my customer base off of people with money, and yeah, you get a following with the goofiness, but I feel like you get the customers with like the professional side of it. So if you can have a little aspect of both of them, then you're kind of winning on both sides, because you've got that like, oh, we should watch this real quick. But then you've also got, oh, wow, he really knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Kind of playing both sides of it. But
and I learned something about PDR today, exactly.
I could actually fix that.
Yeah.
I had posted a video about a Cadillac that I had a glue pull a quarter on, and man, all kinds of posts like, you can't fix that. That's unreal. Like, PDR can't do that. You painted it. I'm like, whatever, guys. Think whatever you want. I got paid.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't even matter to me anymore.
Yep. Well, that's
I know
good.
what I'm capable of, so.
That's good. It's good to have that mindset. 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, we're over an hour. I mean, I really loved having you on here. It's been fun looking at all the tools behind you as well. So I need one of those. I need one of those.
Yeah, really cool tool wall you have.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Well, I appreciate y'all having me on. It's been great. Y'all keep up what you're doing, and as the following grows, don't forget about us small people. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know, man. We hang out just like the rest of us, so we don't forget the folks that got us here for sure.
Yeah, no, it's hard to forget this kind of support, honestly, from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to seeing you both.
Yep,
and hoping to see you transition sooner than later. We're all rooting for you.
We'll see what happens.
Yep, everybody in this chat's been rooting for him, so it's been cool to see.
Yeah, very cool. I'm going to throw you in the back room. We'll say your goodbyes in a second. All right. Well, Nick, it was a lovely show.
Yeah, he is transitioning. He is going. Well, he hasn't.
Whoa!
I'm just gonna leave it here.
Yeah, now there's a whole bunch of them coming in.
Yeah.
All right.
I like that.
Like I said, I don't care what any of y'all think. So if that's what you want to think, go right ahead. Float your boat.
he's thinking, D cup. Nah, I went too far.
Yeah. All right.
Went too far.
I'm gonna end this show now.
Okay.
Y'all have a great night.
See you guys.
Bye, everybody.